This is going to be Lower Blackrock Spire, or Lower Blackrock Spires? What's that S doing there? That's not what the place is called. Okay. Anyway, hi. I'm not an expert at this game. This is not a dungeon guide. This represents my personal experience with a random dungeon group. Am I seeing... How many monks do we have in this party? Got a Brewmaster tank, at least one Windwalker. Or are those both rogues? No, we have a... Oh, neat. Okay, so there's a Mistweaver, a Brewmaster, a Windwalker, and a rogue, and then a warrior. So we got all the yellow action resource bars here. Neat! 3 monks. I think this particular run is the only time I've seen that happen. So all 3 types here. Actually, also, this was the first Windwalker monk I had seen in any dungeon. They were really rare when I was leveling through Classic for some reason. Anyway, yeah, so Blackrock Spire, Lower Blackrock Spire. Big confusing place. I don't remember the way. That is extremely unsurprising, and oh man, this place is a huge confusing maze. It's very strange. So over there on the right where those ogres are standing, that's like almost where the end of the dungeon is, but you can't get there from here, and it'll be a very long time until we're there. Like, you can see the video length here. We're in for quite a ride in this place. So at this point I believe I am level 60, is that right? Let's see, did anything change on my action bar? Yes, I have Ring of Peace over there on my equal key. I won't learn to use it for quite a while yet. It's an interesting ability. Creates a zone in the ground that enemies immediately get pushed out of if they're standing in it. So like a little zone of exclusion where nobody unfriendly can step. Doesn't last very long, but it can do some real cool stuff. But it's like this weird utility ability that's very situational. Not something I can just include in my normal healing rotation or anything. I think all monk types get access to it. I know another, forget if it was a Windwalker or a Brewmaster, but another monk cast it on me once in a later dungeon, and kind of showed me how to use it. Right, okay, so you go in the initial hallway, you go down to the left. At this point, you want to turn left. I know the way now. I didn't at the time that I was doing this. No, right is not the way. I'm pretty sure. Right's just a dead end with a few orcs standing in it. But a wrong decision is better than no decision in some cases. So that's fine. I mean, we can kill this group of enemies. That's some hefty damage. I had to press my Vivify button. Like, it's not that I don't want to cast Vivify, it's just that, like, unless damage starts getting real heavy, I have better lower throughput tools than Vivify for things like that. So if I start Vivifying, then damage is getting hefty. Yeah, that's a dead end. Not this way. You wanted to turn left. Or if you want to jump down from there, you can try taking a shortcut. I guess that's what we're doing. I know my way now through this dungeon if you don't attempt to take shortcuts like this. But at this point I have no idea where we are. So yeah, big sprawling maze, lots of different ways to go, places you can jump down and get to another part of the dungeon. I'll bet we're gonna have to end up backtracking because of that jump, because we did just bypass a boss that we'll need to be killing. Will we come back up to it, is the question. This probably sounds strange to say, but at some point I kind of want to level another monk, because I'd like to know what the Brewmaster leveling experience is like. I have noticed that, like, once I get higher in the levels, Brewmasters are fine, but all the ones I encountered, you know, 60 and below, seem like they've required a fair bit more healing than other types of tank. So I'm wondering if that's just a matter of you don't get all your survivability tools until later, or maybe it's just down to the players, their gear wasn't as strong, or they weren't pressing their buttons the way they needed to, or something. I don't know. I'd be curious to experience it myself to understand that. There's like a whole bunch of stuff I can see out in the world outside of dungeons that's very different if you play Alliance. And I haven't seen the Alliance half of the story since Cataclysm. So maybe some sort of monk on the Alliance is in my future someday, but you know, it's obviously a much higher priority to level more Horde characters on this server to play alongside this monk. But you know, if I run out of those or just want to... Actually, thinking about it though, my plan had been to start being a Brewmaster once I'm at maximum level. I've healed every dungeon, I've gotten to know the layout, and I've started another tank, probably Paladin, to level from 1. You don't start at level 0. That this character, Farron, would become a... would have a usable Brewmaster talent tree and set of gear and, you know, all that stuff she needs. But the way I like to learn a class is to level it from the beginning. So actually a second monk who levels specifically as Brewmaster would be helpful for knowing that. You know, that might not be a thing that I do in the too distant future, because that would help me at max level, just having that sort of gentler learning curve. Knowing how to use my abilities would be easier than jumping in at level 120 and playing Brewmaster for the first time and figuring it all out in those dungeons. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, we're in this room. Tazalor. Realm of the Trolls. Let's see, how much does that mean we skipped? I think just one boss? I don't know if we'll end up coming back for him or not. There's a big ogre dude in the cave, right in front of where we jumped down by accident. There's a nasty troll up this ramp in front of me who likes to hex, which turns people into frogs for a pretty long time, if not interrupted. That one gave us a huge amount of trouble on the last run that was attempted when we came here. That one also had a Brewmaster, but one who didn't know what she was really doing. She ended up just leaving like 2/3 of the way through the dungeon when it had gone on for over an hour, and a bunch of wipes had happened. Things were a mess. Nobody was like yelling at each other. I saw those people coming down the stairway and was worried they would latch onto me, but I made it to where everybody else was. It felt kind of close though. Again, you can't see threat radius or anything, so you just have to eyeball it and guess. Sometimes it's hard to judge whether I'm going to get into trouble or not when I do a thing like that. If I had, I would have just brought them to my tank and had him pick them up. It would have been fine, but I'm glad it didn't go that way. Oh right, there's a couple of bosses here. There's a dude in here who's kind of a little mini-boss. Warmaster Voon, yeah, I forgot about him. Before we get to... oh, what's her name? The Hexer. I forget, but we'll see it soon, I'm sure. My mana bar is not looking super great. I wonder if I'm paying attention to it. Who's attacking me? Got 5 stacks of some debuff on me. I'm almost certain I could dispel that. He has only 1. I guess I'm just gonna let it expire. Or maybe I wasn't paying attention because it's way up there in the upper right and my attention is focused upper left and bottom center. Yeah, mana bar. Down to like a 5th. I'm gonna have to stop and drink at some point. Getting close to empty. Okay, he died, and I was aware, so I did stop and drink immediately. Good. Always gotta make sure you have mana drinks when you go into a dungeon as healer. It's very important. Sometimes you won't need them, but if you do, it's pretty terrible not to have any. Not entirely sure what happened there. Did somebody stay behind and get into trouble with this big troll, or did we decide that we wanted to go up the other ramp? I don't think it matters. Don't both lead to the same place? Maybe they... No, they do, right? So yeah, you go up here, and yeah, you totally could have gotten up here from the other side, I think. No, that side's broken. I can see from here. Okay, so you do specifically have to go up this side. There we go, that ramp up to the left. That goes to whatever her name is. Yeah, Hex. Gotta dispel that. Or better yet, not let it happen. Essence fonts. Probably not the right choice there. Only one person really needed healing. Time for drink. Time for drink. I didn't drink. Okay. Guess I'm going in with this much mana. Shadowhunter Voshgajen, that's her name, right. Yeah, so there's Hex. It happens to 2 people at once. This is going to be a problem. Yeah, we're not surviving this, probably. Let's see, do I have any... Oh yeah, now I'm Hexed. Oh, everybody was at once. The entire party is frogs. Yep, that's what happens if you're not prepared for that encounter. Oh, we respawned. Yeah, this is the beginning. Yep. Okay, so this is perhaps our opportunity to fight the ogre boss. Hey, I said something. So yeah, my silence has been broken at this point. I'll type messages, you know, to keep the group's mood up if I feel like it's necessary, or to call out important mechanics if I feel like it's necessary. Okay, we're just following the same route down, huh? Maybe. He's thinking about it. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Everybody's already jumped down, though. So I guess we don't get the chance yet. This is the broken bridge. Can't go that way. Still monsters in the center of the room, so we have to avoid that, whichever way we're going here. One rogue did not return to life as quickly as everybody else, so he's going to be behind for a bit. Oh, and he died. No, that was the other one, the one who was up ahead. Whoopsie. Okay, so this is happening. Dispel that hex. Dispel that hex. Was I paying attention? I think I was more worried about my own survival, but just like panicking and wasn't sure what to do. Yeah, I think I froze up slightly there. Wasn't quite sure which button to press, so I didn't press any of them, which definitely was not the right way to go. It's fine, looks like we handled it. So right, in addition to Shadowhunter Voshkajin doing her own hex, the extra ones who were also part of that fight do it, the Witch Doctor. So take out the Witch Doctor and or interrupt them, and also dispel the hex when it goes through. Or else you're going to have a lot of problems here. Wait, what happened? I had the right target targeted, didn't I? I heard the dispel noise, but he stayed a frog. What was that? Maybe I didn't have the right target somehow? Where is this rogue? Up above? Up above where? Minimap says... oh, that's the other one who was behind. Just barely escaped death. So right, I'm out here drinking, hoping that the rest of the party will catch up. Rest of the party being this one rogue who probably might not know the way to us. Fortunately, the other people are paying attention. Oh yeah, yeah, he found his way. Nice thing about playing as a rogue is you can go into stealth and get a lot closer to enemies without attracting their attention. Why did I drink that? That was almost full. Could have just waited. What a waste. Only got 7 left. And with having as many times as I've had to drink so far, I guess I'm a little worried about it. Alright, everybody here. Good. Good. You made a good choice there. Take out everybody but the boss first. I was ready for that. Had my finger right over the 6 key. Man, that's some damage. Yeah, not a terrible time for a life cocoon. Probably would have been fine without it. Oh, the frog gets a tiny little shield. It scales down with it. That's pretty funny. I should probably don't need to drink again, actually. And I don't have an opportunity anymore. Oh, hey! So that thing on the left, I didn't do that. The Windwalker monk, I think, probably, or could have been the Brewmaster. One of them decided to use their Paralyze ability to keep one of the enemies out of this fight until we're ready to deal with them. Oh man, yeah, that's a party-wide hex. So everybody who's standing near gets it. I'm standing a little away, so I managed to dodge that one, I guess. These are all... everybody is a melee fighter here, so everybody's going to get in close. So if that hex goes off... good, interrupted. If that hex goes off, everybody's going to get it. Curse of Blood, nothing to worry about. It's just the hex. So Paralyze doesn't last forever. I'm expecting it to break on the Shadow Priest over there at any moment. Unless that little jaunt over in that direction was to renew it. It might have been. I didn't hear the noise, I didn't see the animation, but maybe it happened when I wasn't noticing. There we go. Small upgrade. The way the numbers for equipment scale in this game is kinda strange now. Like, item levels, from level 1 to 110, you know, item levels seem to scale more or less linearly. They top out at like 135 or something. Not an extremely high number. So yeah, like at the end of the Legion content, you'll have an item level that's like in the mid 100s. And, you know, upgraded at this point, add like one more intellect. Up in the 110 to 120 range, the numbers, the spread of numbers is much, much higher. Like the maximum item levels you'll see in current expansion are like 450, 470 or something. Like, you know, almost four times as much as the maximum from second most recent expansion. This guy's just standing here doing nothing. Must have had a distraction or something. And yeah, like, you know, nowadays I'm getting upgrades that are like, oh yeah, 62 more intellect for just another 30 item levels or something. Well, yeah, another 30 item levels. Next expansion, Shadowlands, is apparently doing a number crunch where everybody's level gets scaled down such that 120 is now 50, and then 60 is the new cap again. So they get divided by half and a bit. I'm not sure if other stat numbers are changing. Shadowlands won't be for a while. Rumored to be in August this year, I think. There was already a sort of similar number squish a few expansions ago, apparently, where damage numbers at the low end were scaled down a lot. You know, because after several expansions, if the numbers just go up and up and up, then, you know, you're doing like 20 million damage per second. And it's like, what does that number even mean? So now, when this character was like in the single-digit levels, she was doing like, you know, 3 damage per attack. Not very much. Whoops, what happened to you, Mr. Rogue? Oh, you were not with us. Where were you? I saw on the minimap. Way the heck down there. What? I was not paying attention to what that rogue was doing. Not now, and not at the time this was happening either. Oh hey, we found our way back to the ogres. Okay, so we've backtracked a bit. Good. So we got here just a roundabout way. So there to our left is the way you'd normally come in here. I think, unless we're somewhere other than where I think we are. That's certainly possible. Are there 2 places in this dungeon that are guarded by a pair of ogres in front, I wonder? This rogue's just got to fend for himself, and isn't quite managing to do that, it looks like. So that's unfortunate, but nothing we can do for him from over here. Oh, this is a silver-framed enemy, a rare one. Hang on, where are we? I'm confused now. I mean, this must be the ogre cave. There are ogres here, right? Yeah, okay. This is the place I think it is. Mock Doom. Got some ogre whose name I forgot. Is this one Uruk or is the other one Uruk? It's one of them. I just saw that Windwalker monk use Chi Burst, which is a talent that it seems like almost nobody seems to take. Or, well, no, maybe that's just a... I can take it as a Mistweaver. It's one of those, like, damage or healing spells, I think, depending on what type of thing you have targeted. I know it's not recommended as part of the Mistweaver talent build, usually. Maybe it is good for a Windwalker. I don't know much about Windwalker. Haven't played one, ever. Except for, like, 1 minute when I needed to do a quest that absolutely required a hard interrupt. And Mistweaver does not get one of those. I have Quaking Palm, which is a stun. I have Leg Sweep, which is a very good stun. And I have Paralyze, which is a ranged crowd control. Okay, so poor Mr. Rogue couldn't find his way back, and just got tired of dying over and over. And we weren't coming back to get him. So he just decided to leave. That's sad. Aw. Man, I feel kind of bad about that now. But we can get a new one right away. Oh, is this the Holy Priest? This might be the Holy Priest. Yeah, this is the Holy Priest. Okay, it is this run. So that was her changing specializations. Right, so I've heard, I haven't tried it myself, but I have heard that when you queue into a dungeon, it automatically drops you in the talent specialization appropriate for the role that you queued for. So she would have come in there in Shadow. I'm guessing maybe she just didn't like have her Shadow action bar set up, or maybe it was her plan all along to come in here and be a Holy Priest damage dealer. But yeah, there she is casting Smite. Over and over and not doing much else, because, like, what else can you do as a Holy Priest? Probably some things. I saw one other ability. It's not a lot. What is it with me in pressing my Essence font button when only one target is hurting? I don't know, maybe I thought there was a reason to do that. High Lord Omok, that's right. Omok and Urok, and 2 ogre brothers or friends or whatever in here. There's an item you can get from this dude, which you combine with something outside to summon Urok later. But we don't figure out how to do that during this run, so optional extra ogre won't be fought. This was long enough as it was, I guess. You just kind of have to know what to do. So Omok's head, I got one of those, everybody else did too. But you need another item that's found out here and just isn't really marked in any way. Gotta get a pike off of a weapon rack that's like just out here to the right. Then way later toward the end of the dungeon, combine those 2 things to summon Urok, the other ogre. Yeah, that weapon rack is guarded by all those orcs over there, so we hadn't cleared that spot, so nobody picks up the pike. So we don't have the option of doing the Urok thing. This is the way. Down that ramp. Forward is the way. But this is not the way we came originally. I guess that ramp... Map's not helpful. It seems to go to the wrong floor when you open it up, so it looks like you're just walking on nothing. Oh, so we do go this way. This is back to the entrance, by the way. Not really the way to go. I'm sure we'll figure that out soon. Yeah, I can see the pikes against the wall there, next to that one sleeping orc who just stood up and stopped. No, he's still sleeping standing up. What was that red portal thing? Was that a warlock summoning minion portal? I don't know. I think I saw an imp come out of it. So at this point, where Mr. Brewmaster Monk is standing now, we came this way and then jumped down. This is where we said, should we go left or right? And somebody said go right, which I guess is a legitimate shortcut if you want to skip Omok. But then we ended up having to come back anyway. So yeah, you're just going back up to the entrance. Let's see how far he gets before figuring it out. I mean, I wouldn't have known. I didn't know at this time. Yeah, okay, so those ogres across the way. That's where Uruk is summoned. Right around here is where we jumped down. And that skips us ahead to somewhere. So yeah, Tazalor is just like in here, right? Man, what a place. So I appreciate that unlike Blackrock Depths, this one was not all chopped up for the Dungeon Finder. This is still here in its full glory. It's confusing as ever, you know, for all the good and bad of that. I like it. I think it's too cool to have big confusing mazes for dungeons. Oh boy, that is... oh yeah, so that's two groups at once. My life cocoon's on cooldown, so I was doing what I could to save him, but there were just too many there at once. I think if I had played slightly differently it would have been possible to heal through that, but I wasn't really prepared for what was happening there. And that would have taken some preparation. Yeah, so here's where I noticed that that was a holy priest, because you see what that portrait has changed into. When a holy priest dies, they get the chance to continue healing for a little while in that spirit form. Then they actually go away. So yeah. That's what clued me in. So Tazalor over there. Are we not going there? Which way is this? So yeah, those are the ones who killed us. Sitting down in the cook pot. That's pretty good. Being a lot more careful about how those, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out, yep, that's a holy priest. Verified. I mean, the other thing is, like, I didn't know if that spirit form could be maybe a thing that other priests could do too, because so many game mechanics have changed. I saw that I pulled threat, so I went behind the wall to make sure that if it was running toward me, it would run around the corner. Yeah, so anyway, so many game mechanics have changed, I can't trust my memories and 8-year-old knowledge of how the classes used to work, but yes, indeed. Oh, is she floating? Why? What does that do? It's not moving her faster or anything. She's just floating for fun. Huh. Oh, Skitterweb Tunnels! We've skipped ahead to here, okay. We did, like, another big skip, I guess. Because, like, this is not where we were when we had just fought Shadowhunter Voshkajin. But I guess I couldn't tell you right at the moment what's in between there and here. Alright, so he's just reached level 60. I am getting very close to 61. At 61, so I didn't know it at the time. I wasn't completely sure because I had seen this one other party member who had queued with me, who was level 110 and had gotten scaled down to 60. So I thought maybe that level range just means that if you're between, 15 and 60 for Fire Chasm, or like 54 and 60 for Lower Blackrock Spire, or whatever it is, then you can queue and be your own level. Then maybe once you pass 60, you can still queue up for it and get scaled down. I just had no idea. So right, my experience bar is there. I don't have it disabled. But mid-dungeon, I'm going to level up to 61. And I don't know if I check the dungeon finder immediately. I might. If I do, I will see that it's no longer possible to get into here. So that kind of gave me a lot of pressure to make sure that this run went well, because I would have just lost my ability to re-queue if this run fell apart. So that was good information to get. Unfortunately, it wasn't too much of a problem. But yeah, if this had fallen apart before the final boss, I wouldn't have been able to take this character in a dungeon group setting through this dungeon anymore. So yeah, Mother Smolderweb. All the little spiders around here drop something that lets you get, like... Yeah, Mother's Milk. Chance to become immobilized. There's an item they drop that if you pay attention to it, you can use it and be immune to that for a moment or something. I can also dispel it, because I can get rid of poisons. But my dispel can only do so many things at a time. I don't have Revival yet. That's an ability I'll get at some point soonish. It's a full party instant heal that also removes the same things that Detox does, with long cooldown on it, of course. Because, it's a button you press when things are going very wrong, everybody's taking heavy damage, you just want to make sure everybody survives. Or if everybody has a really harmful disease or poison or magic effect on them, and you want to get rid of all of them at once. And that's when you press your Revival button. But I do not currently have it at this level. I wonder when it comes. So it's after 60, huh? I think this Holy Priest is helping me out with dispels. I'm hearing the dispel sound. That and the fact that she's here as holy makes me think she's probably used to being in the healer role. That would make the most sense. Immature Venom Sac, that's what it is. That's the item that lets you not get Mother Smolderweb's poison effect. Okay, we finally found our way around to where the other ogres are. So Urok's tribute pile is here. Nobody picked up the pike, so we can't combine Omok's head with it and actually summon him. It's that pile of skulls there on the right that we saw for a moment. So right, extra optional boss here. If you're coming here yourself, you can summon him that way. But we were not able to do it during this run. Let's see, we did attempt to do it during the run I was in here that failed, and that was the point at which everybody started leaving the party because there was a... He used fear. People got... you can't actually get feared off of an edge, but you can get put in a place where when you regain control of your character, it's very easy to accidentally walk off the edge. That happened to me, and I think another party member. Then everybody died there. This was pretty deep into the dungeon. We'd taken a bunch of shortcuts, so nobody really knew how to get back here. And that was when and why the group fell apart. Tank left, we waited a while for another one. Nobody ended up coming. Everybody else got impatient and left. Then I was the only one left, and didn't want to try to bring 4 more party members in on a, 3/4 complete dungeon at that point. So I decided I would just leave and try again with a fresh group, which ended up being this one. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't really like the tank that I had back there. Not really for, well, partially for playstyle reasons, but I don't know. I don't want to go into details. But I had my reasons. I can get along with most people who play this game, but every once in a while you get somebody who just rubs me the wrong way. And she was one of those. Isn't there something we're supposed to see back in that hallway back there? Did we skip another... Yeah, Gizral the Slavener, and there's one other, yeah, those two wolf bosses that were on the map for a moment. Maybe we notice, maybe he notices and doubles back. What's the other one's name? I forgot. There we go, 61. New dungeon, the Underbog, new dungeon on Kahet, the Old Kingdom. So that's a... One of those is a Burning Crusade dungeon, one of them is a Wrath of the Lich King dungeon. Those two are merged together now during the level experience. So from 1 to 60 you do classic stuff. Yeah, here we go. So Utgard Keep, Hellfire Ramparts was that, probably? So from 60 to 80 now, you can go to Outland, or you can go to Northrend, or you can go to both. You can queue for both of the dungeons. They're merged together in that level range. Because it used to be 60 to 70 was Outland, 70 to 80 was Northrend. So they did it for that, and then 80 to 90 is Mists of Pandaria and Cataclysm together. So those are all scaled to that full level range. It's kind of messy because, well, okay, so Cataclysm used to top out at 85. That was the level cap then. So the appropriate level for a Cataclysm heroic dungeon is level 85. But now, level 90 is the new cap. The Dungeon Finder normal dungeons were retuned for that. And they don't all unlock until, I think like some of them unlock at 87. I missed a bunch of more dungeons while leveling because they were Cataclysm heroic only. And I didn't know to stop right at 85. You know, I saw them in the Dungeon Finder, and it was like, oh man, there is no way that I'm going to queue up for Zulaman, Zul'Gurub, End Time, Well of Eternity, and... what's the other one? Helicon, that's the name of this wolf. There's one other dungeon that was added after I had stopped playing, so I had never even seen them at all. So, you know, I saw, well, I'm level 85. Surely I'm not ready for heroic. I should do them a normal first. Those dungeons don't have a normal version. So yeah, there are 5 Cataclysm dungeons that I never managed to actually get in while leveling this character. Same thing to some degree happened with Legion and Warlords of Draenor. I think in the case of Mists of Pandaria, there just weren't as many dungeons and they all were queuable without that restriction. I don't know, it's weird. This is a hard process to do. Like, to actually hit every dungeon while leveling is very non-trivial. At some point I just had to give up on some of them, sadly. Still kind of have a goal to get to them someday, somehow, in some capacity. But I'll have to level another character to do it, because I've lost my opportunity with this one. At the same time, though, I didn't want to just get stuck for weeks in the same, you know, be stuck with my experience gain disabled at levels 85, let's see, not 90, 85, 100, and 110 would have been the thresholds, until I can somehow get a group together for certain heroic dungeons. A pretty sizable list, and then be able to move on, because, you know, I needed to get to max level, and in order to do some of the things to unlock the allied races for other characters I want to create. So it just didn't make sense to wait for those. Yeah, we have kind of been in here forever. It is a large place. This is getting very close to the end. But yeah, this is a huge dungeon. People are having a good time though, so that's always great. This priest's having a fight with these orcs over here across the way. That's... oh boy, this looks like a mess. What's going on? Everybody's all spread out. This seems like a terrible idea. Windwalker's taking that group. Priest was across the crack. Brewmaster was over there, you know, doing the right thing, but like not paying attention to the other group that was also in combat. I took a fortifying brew because it seemed like a good idea. Current me agrees with that assessment. Everything was fine, but that looked pretty dicey for a moment. He's already way over there. Whoa, good thing I didn't fall there. Not sure there's a way back up if I fell off of that little plank. I mean, I'm sure there is a way back up, but it probably would not be immediate. I think that might drop me back in the Skitterweb tunnels, that one dead-end path where the extra scorpions are coming from. And yeah, that would be a distance back. A damage dealer could get away with falling down one of those, but the healer could not. Neither could a tank. Chamber of Battle. Is this the final room yet? It might be. It should be. So Upper Blackrock Spire was a, I think, 10-player raid instance back in the day. Now it is a Warlords of Draenor 5-player dungeon, I think. And it's one of those heroic-only ones that I did not get to while leveling this character in the Dungeon Finder setting. So sadly, we won't be seeing that with Mistweaver, at least. At least not this Mistweaver. Maybe I'll level another. It could happen. Yeah, so as cool as it is that dungeon is, you know, was redone in a different form for a future expansion. Now that expansion is old, it's just in such a situation where you can't really play it. I mean, you can technically, but it's just not practical to do it. A thing I've heard about the level squish that's coming in the next expansion is that you can choose basically like any of the expansions to go from level 1 to 50. So they're all placed on equal footing. You don't do them one after another. You like pick one and stick to it. So I'm hoping that Dungeon Finder level ranges will be adjusted for that so that you can actually get into all of the ones that were missed at the time. But also I've heard that the 1 to 50 leveling is probably going to be faster than 1 to 120 right now. So it'll be even harder to hit up every dungeon on the way, just because you'll out-level them so quickly. I don't know, that has good points and bad points. It's probably all fine because if you're doing something like what I'm doing here, you do have the option of just eliminating experience gain. Anyway, won't have to worry about that for a while. Alright, so Overlord Wormthalok, done. Lower Blackrock Spire is done. I should have gotten the Classic Dungeon Master achievement here if it hadn't misfired back in Stratholme for whatever reason. But yeah, got that achievement, and that is all the Classic Dungeons. Pretty good. Do I have quests to turn in? I might. If I'm doing this, I probably do. Yeah. Not complaining on DPS is holy. Yep. I certainly noticed. It was fine. Not a problem. Nobody complained about anything. It was a real good group. Guess I'm trying to figure out which of these items I want more. Alright, cool. Good group. I was real happy with this guy, so I gave him one of my cheers. Alright, and that's all the classic dungeons. See you next time to begin Burning Crusade and Wrath.